inside the some stuff was done. But one had this carpet, big carpet chairs. One was like ours is like a gray, one's like a blue gray.
You ready? Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Can we please rise and say the pledge? Get to bang.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Erling,
yes.
Commissioner Weeding,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Here.
Commissioner Wozak,
Here.
Mayor Hart.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time, I am going to turn the meeting over to Dale, and you can proceed.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for coming, everyone. We've got our guest here, Darren Bauer from Bauer Chevy GMC, and Allie DeRazio from DeRazio Ford in Wilmington. And we just thought they were kind enough to come here. We thought if any of you folks have questions for them for the upcoming move, or any of the city council members, or our clerk or city administrator, we're here for you. So, if anyone outside there doesn't have any questions, my name is Dale Walsh. I'm the Commissioner of Streets and Public Improvements. And if anyone has questions, we can call on you. If not, we've got questions up here from people who have emailed us.
I'll start it off, I guess. Chris Erling, 180 North Mitchell Street. Just kind of a real easy question. I mean, I know the paperwork's been in the works for a couple of years. And I know there's a lot of, red tape to cut through. Can you guys add a little bit more as to a better projection, like breaking ground or anything like that, more or less?
Sure.
That's a great question. We knew that was the one question.
My question too.
And we didn't even talk about it, but we just both knew it.
Yes, that's a question we've asked a lot also, actually. Yes.
It's very frustrating to start everything. There was red tape. Tony's helped us through a lot, and
Yes.
ComEd was a problem.
Yes.
There's a piece of ComEd has a right of way that goes through the area there, which is found out just before acquiring it. Is that about right, Tony? It was quite a little ripple there.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Quite a timeline to get approval from them. We ended up just finding a workaround, actually. So it took some time to find the right people to help us get a workaround, but now you can see our designs have changed because at the beginning of this year, Ford and GM both rolled out a new design, and we obviously, because we haven't started building yet, we didn't want to be one of the last stores with the old design. We want to be new stores, one of the first stores with the new design. So they just released these new designs. Are the two bottom ones down there. They just released these within the last month. So we've both, for each of our stores, we've resubmitted our design, our facility design to Ford and Darren has to GM for them to approve the new design for us. So, but we're crossing our fingers that will be this spring, we'll be breaking ground.
Stuff has been out for bid, and
Yes, yes.
yeah, it's all been going forward.
We are much, much closer, that's for sure.
We have the last thing either one of us wanted to do. I have a store in Matson as well. I built one of the last looks of Cadillac up there. Matter of fact, before it was done, they announced the new look. Not a fun feeling for me. So we didn't want to be the last ones here. So believe it or not, these two looks that are going to be there are arguably going to be.
They could be the first.
They could be the first ones in the country. But they're going to be that. That we're waiting. Neither one of us have. Well, I brought the pictures.
Yeah,
I
this is
forgot
the
I
most
sent it
we
to you a
have.
while
This is
ago.
all we have
This is
because
it,
it's so
and
new.
it's not even a clear
Literally,
copy.
yes.
So we're waiting for the guts of it to come out, like,
All
look
the
around the room.
interior
Whatever you
design.
see in the room is told to us. We don't pick the carpet, paint, tile. We don't have to think about anything. It's just told us what we have to do.
Yeah.
And that's what we're waiting for too, in the specifics of how the outside will lay out.
Yes.
So that is dragging on. That's happening right now.
Excellent.
Okay.
Oh, Darren and Allie, I should have asked you. If you'd like to introduce yourself and your background, I know you have more than one dealership, Darren. So I don't know if many people know that.
So this is Arnie Bauer Chevrolet Buick we acquired in Wilmington, and in 2023 we actually like gave back Buick and got acquired GMC at the same time. So it's Chevy GMC in Wilmington, and that's what will be moving out here. We also have a store in Matson, which is Arnie Bauer Cadillac Buick and GMC. It is our 80th year in business. Arnie Bauer is my grandfather, passed away a long time ago. My father's still going. He's golfing tomorrow morning. Goes in the winter, Arizona for the winters, which is great. A vacation for him is a vacation for me. That was recorded, so you can hear it. But we've been around a long time. I'm third generation. My son is fourth generation. He decided to join the business about a year ago after doing some other stuff for a while. I enjoy it. I'm usually at one of the two locations almost all the time, and looking forward to everything. That's a little bit about us. Your turn.
So my father and I, we own the store together. He's not in the store every day, but my family started in the body shop business years ago. My father sold that and wanted to own a Ford dealership, and the opportunity presented itself to purchase South Oak back in 2012. I've been at the store myself, running the store since 2019. My father's in Florida the majority of the year, and I share that with Darren, that when my dad is on the golf course and happy and on vacation, it's a vacation for me as well. So, but Darren's been a great mentor to me also through the last couple of years since we've met, and him being in the same town. It's our only store. We hope to grow and add more brands to our name down the road, but obviously this move is very important for that as well to us. So we are very excited to be a part of the community and continue to grow.
So I think it's important, because I'll get asked this question too, is we met each other, I don't know, 4 years ago,
4
maybe?
years ago, 5 years ago.
So, and we have this area together that both of us are involved with, but each store is our own store.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our dealership and it's their dealership, but it's a
yes.
common piece of property.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've been asked that, I don't know if you have, but.
Yes, we're partners on the development
Yeah.
together, but each of our dealerships will be at their separate entities on separate parcels, and we plan to develop the rest of the property to bring in more retail business as well.
Because that's very important to us too.
Yes.
More people drive by,
Mhm.
it's much better for us.
Yes, the more retail over there, the better, for sure.
And I just want, real quick, full disclosure, I work part-time for DeRazio Ford. And so far I haven't been asked to be in any high-level meetings or anything like that. So we pick up and deliver vehicles for service, so that's where I work part-time, so.
I have a follow-up question then.
Sure.
Okay, following up the previous question, I understand this is hard, but when would you project business to actually start and open?
If we break ground this May as planned, it's a large development, obviously. There's a lot of groundwork that has to be done before we can start building. So realistically, if we break ground May 1st, we would probably 2 years from that point before we're occupying the building, to be realistic. And that is because we also know that Comet switchgear is still 50 plus weeks out. And these materials, we don't even know what they are yet, that both manufacturers will require us to use on the facades of the building. So the last design, that big arch wall that Ford was requiring us to do, the initial design, that product was like, I think it was over 50 weeks out as well. So we just don't know for sure yet, so we're allowing for that.
Well, we anxiously await you.
Yes, we're excited.
And we are, the first things we're gonna develop is both of our lots. Those are the first things that's gonna happen,
Mhm.
okay? So.
We know
just
once
everything
we're
else, we
there,
like it,
that's an attraction to bring in additional retail business over there, so.
But they have to see it's happening first.
Yes. Mhm.
Chris, I'm relying on you.
I'm curious, Mr. Bauer, like in Wilmington, how many employees are on staff at your Wilmington store?
20?
Okay.
Yeah, probably 20.
And Allie, if you had to guess about how many's on staff at DeRazio?
With our full-time, we're 37, with part-time, we're about 45.
Okay, brings a lot of work to you.
It does, absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
And our building, well, we occupy about 14,000 square feet with our building right now. Our new building will be 30,000 square feet. We'll go from 12 service stalls to 24 service stalls. I mean, we'll definitely increase,
Same with us, it's double the
Job.
size of our building we're in,
yes.
and there's much more.
That's great.
The only way this works is if we move and we do a lot more business for ourselves,
Yes,
because the more tax we collect, the better we do and the better everybody does here.
Yes.
So it's definitely a flow.
yes.
Hey, Mike Thomasek, 195 North Front Street. It'd be great to see you come to town. Regarding the retail space that you're talking about, is that property that you own that you're gonna be leasing to retailers, or how's that gonna work? So, for example, if someone wants to start something up, do they contact you directly and enter into perhaps a lease agreement with you, or how's that work?
A good one for that, that's you. She's
So
much more
yes,
detail oriented.
so yes, it's there's four of us. It's Darren and I and each of our fathers, obviously, with that own the property. But yes, that would be ideal, is that we would lease the property back to another business that, that is a retail focused business, so.
And we're open to either building something,
Lease
leasing it,
or,
or
yes.
selling the property, whichever way it would flow.
Yeah, whatever makes sense, yes.
Yep, one at a time.
All right?
Sure,
win.
you
That's
I just said these are, Kathy Jackson, Maple Court. Is this just about the car dealership tonight, or can I ask another question?
Anything.
Okay. My question goes back to Division Street and what the rule is on semis, because can someone just explain to me, are semis allowed in it or not? Because it's a racetrack now. I don't see any policing there, and semis are just going by all day long. Unfortunately, because they're building that automotive thing there, they cut down all the trees, so now that's my view. And I mean, I thought you guys had said semis aren't allowed on that road, and now when they're gonna put in the giant gas station, they'll have to turn around. Someone needs to just go down there and sit a couple days and see. It's endless semis on Division now, coming from off of 55, making the turn and coming down. So can someone tell me, are they supposed to be on there or not?
Would you know, is that a truck route or not?
That is, it's not a truck route.
There used to be a sign that said not a truck route. I don't see it anymore, but you guys had said lots of times in the meetings that there's not supposed to be semis. Tony, you had said when the new gas station goes in, they'll literally have to do a U and go back to the highway. Well, is anybody looking at it? Because honestly, it's semis all day long. So if it's not allowed and we need tax revenue, well, that'd be a good way to get it, by giving out some tickets. There used to always be a cop sitting in that storage thing and he'd pull semis over. Now I don't see anybody doing it. So I just want a clear answer. Is it illegal for them to be there or not?
Can you send me an email and I'll follow up with you?
Well, for everybody, I mean,
Yeah,
we'd all like to know, is it legal or not for them to be on that road?
What was the old sign, Deb?
It used to be right when you were making the right turn, almost by that little kitty corner thing with the Braidwood sign.
Or
It used to
113?
say not a truck route there years ago, and I don't see the sign now. We actually looked today to see if I saw it before I came here tonight, but if it is legal, I don't care, just tell me that. But I mean, we were always told, and that was a big thing with the gas station going in, was everyone was concerned about the semi-traffic. And we were all told that they would have to go in a certain way, come back out and not come down Division. But if we're not enforcing that now, how are we gonna enforce it then?
So I'll add a little bit to this from when my husband and I owned the semi company. So the Illinois state overweight permitted route is along Route 113 and 129. It is not legal within the city limits for, say, like a regular bobtail, so they're not supposed to turn there. They're supposed to go straight down Coal City Road. But if they do hold an overweight permit, it is legal for them to come down the state road.
But it turns into Braidwood right away, right? Cause I live right there on Maple
It's
Court,
still a
that's
state
Braidwood.
State road.
It's still a state road. So if, say, Braidwood were to pull them over and they had an overweight permit, they would be allowed to be on the overweight permitted route if that's what they applied for. But just a regular semi, no, they're not supposed to be in town.
Okay, thanks.
Liz, no?
Okay, back to the car dealership.
Or anything.
Liz Dixon, 195 North Lincoln Street. Popped in my old address. What is your projected sales I mean, you have to have gone through it to make sure that you were gonna make money at it. So what would your projected sales be, and what would our sales tax be coming in? Just, I know it's a number out of the air.
I couldn't tell you what your sales tax would be. I don't look at it as how much sales tax
Okay,
revenue would be. All I know is there's a massive correlation between volume, our sales volume,
correct,
and the dollar amount of the vehicle sold, to the tax revenue
right,
here.
but what do you project to sell as cars? How many cars a month, how many cars?
Yeah, I mean,
Trucks
we're
would be-
projecting 100 million for our store.
Okay,
Yes, I mean, eventually, obviously, once we're there, you know, a few
Yeah,
years
once
we're
we're-
established, yes, yes.
Yeah, we're expecting to, basically triple our business that we're doing currently. Okay, by the move, it would put us at about 120 cars a month, or 25 cars a month. And that may be a little
50,000
hard
car.
to relate, but that's what we expect to do.
I do a lot of traveling on interstates, and whenever you get into a larger town, it's always RV dealerships, car dealerships. I mean, when you're expanding, do they want you to be near an interstate if you're going to build a new
Oh,
building?
yes.
Do they pretty
So-
much dictate?
Because I'm older, in early '90s, General Motors had a program called Project 2000. And it was for all dealerships to move out to the expressway as a general rule. It's been going on since then. So we were in Chicago Heights at our store, we were in Chicago Heights. So we're on Route 30, about 10 minutes east of 57. When we moved out to 57 in the Matson Auto Mall, our circle that we would pull from just grew dramatically. So
I mean, I can tell you if this helps a little bit, our current drive-by traffic where we're at right now is less than 4,000 people a day. On the highway right there, it's 30,000 going north and 30,000 going south. So it's, I mean, the amount of, you know, just exposure is, I mean, it's a huge substantial increase. So, and those are the numbers that Ford looks at too. I'm sure GM does the same thing. So that's the push to push us, you know.
And people are online nowadays, so, you know, everybody's looking for whatever cars could be, whatever online. They'll drive to go get it, especially, you know, maybe not as much more north because they don't have to drive as far because they're gonna see more. But, you know, I know we'll be pulling people out of Bloomington, driving right up the road. And it's just more for you. I mean, we will have that. That is figured in.
Is delivery, real quick, is delivery of vehicles a big part? I work for
Are you
a
looking
Ford
for the other
dealership
half?
in
Are you
Dwight.
looking for the other half of your part-time?
Well, I did. I was at another Ford dealership before Durazio, but I delivered vehicles to Texas, to West Virginia. So they do a lot of shopping online.
They do. It is.
I mean,
the more
maybe
you know the
Carvana
things, the
was
more-
ahead of their time. I don't know. But
Yeah. We do deliveries like that, and we've shipped everywhere. Sometimes somebody goes with it, or drives out, flies back. That will happen. COVID took it in a different direction where we did a lot more of that. So that really pushed that way forward. But even here, you know, if somebody lives in the same town or next town over, we'll deliver your car right to you, go through everything right through you. We can do almost everything. All the
Yes.
paperwork now remote until the state catches up. We can do every paperwork remote except for state papers,
Except for the
Okay.
title and odometer.
title and number.
Yeah.
That is supposed to be changing. But otherwise, you know, you can do everything right on your phone, believe it or not.
Yes.
thanks, Dave.
Dave Slager on Walker. First, thank you guys for coming to Braidwood. It'll help a lot of people. Question is going to be, what made your decision to come to Braidwood over staying in Wilmington? And I know I-55 is there, so now we have the competition with Coal City and Diamond, which is on the other side of the office, on the other side of the highway. What was your final decision to, is it this administration that helped this decision, or was it just you guys had to do a strategic thing? No, let you answer.
It was a combination of things, definitely. But the work that the city of Braidwood did to get us to move here was definitely what made our final decision. There's the help that we've had to get into the town and to get the property ready for us to be able to finally build, and finding the property that is where we are finally moving to. It was ideal, the location as well, right by Camping World. We wanted to have good exposure right off the highway and have ease of getting there as well. And we also didn't want to have to fight, the industrial park traffic, truck traffic either. We wanted to be in a retail area, not an industrial park area. So, but there was still property in basically all 3-4 towns that could have given us that option as well. But the administration definitely played a big part in getting us here.
Kudos to
Yes, absolutely.
them. I mean, the communication back and forth has been great when we've been stuck to help to get problems. I sell cars. That's what I do. Sell and service cars. I don't buy land. I build
Yeah.
buildings. That's not what.
A TIF district agreement. I mean, it's just it's a foreign language, So
So yeah, the
Yes.
house straightforward. The village, your city, village or city? What is
City.
it? City. Okay. The city is they've done has been really really remarkable and markedly different from the other options we had. Can I say that?
absolutely,
Okay.
yes, by far, yes.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
Is that a normal thing? I mean, do cities have to do something to entice people to come over? I mean, as far as a land agreement?
I mean, just mutual respect really, and having, and honestly, and wanting us to move to the town, and being, a partner instead of, trying to fight us on things has been a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you, so.
And we both know that towns like us,
Mhm.
okay? Because
I mean, we
$100,000
not
car.
only
Look
the
at the
sales
tax.
tax, but all of our employees and their families that come in, all the customers that come into the town just to buy fuel and buy groceries, and even if they just pick up a gallon of milk before they go home, it's still money spent in the town, so it's beneficial, absolutely, and we know what that that means. So
people come from out of
it's
state,
nice to be recognized.
they're gonna come in, they're gonna fuel up here, and they're gonna eat here.
Yes,
They have to,
Mhm. Yep.
right? So
I got another quick question. So I work with underground utilities.
what company?
I work for National Power Routing in Chicago. We do mostly sewer lines, water mains. So people don't know, cities sometimes run into county roads, county materials, county stuff. County runs into state stuff. State doesn't do a damn thing. That turn onto Easy Street is our street, and of course 113. So our equipment may have to touch 113. That's why I'm just throwing that out there. Would you guys care if we brought a city skid steer over there with a jackhammer and took out that no left
The
turn?
pork chop?
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
I never
you
knew
gotta
what
get
a pork chop was before.
right.
Tony,
You talking about the semi
Well, we were
trucks,
really
and we
hoping
know.
you were gonna keep the pork chop and make it really hard for.
So I was just wondering, is that staying? Can we get rid of that?
It is going.
Please.
Chris.
Okay.
And if I believe I understand the language right, we have already grant money for it, waiting on this bill to start to take care of it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Have a couple drinks and somebody take it out.
Please don't challenge him.
I don't know.
Don't put any ideas in his head.
Hey, a mayor of Chicago tore up a
Well, there we
major
go.
road in the middle of the night, so.
An
We can
airport.
do that, we can
Yeah.
take a pork chop
Airport.
out.
I have a little different question. I understand there's a difference between a regular dealership and a premium dealership. And that most sites by expressways are premium dealerships. Can you explain a little about that?
Just
Well,
forward.
I guess what Ford considers them are, internally, they call them contact and select stores, and those are basically just by your selling volume anymore. Years ago, they used to be based on the area, if you were in a metropolitan or a rural area. So technically, we would have been a select store, which means you don't get as much attention from Ford and Ford reps and as much assistance, from with vehicle allocation and all of that. But we're considered a contact store at this point, so, which is the equivalent of a premium, I'm assuming, for other manufacturers. I only
You
have Ford
leveled up.
experience, so.
You leveled up.
We sold enough vehicles to finally get some attention, so.
Our Chevy is contact store, GMC currently, because they will treat it different, because they're definitely different divisions. But in March, I think we're going contact.
And this move, I would assume for both of us, would just make us contact regardless, you know, of the volume, so the investment that we're making. And,
If they see us putting investment in,
Mhm.
then, you know, they want nothing to support us. I mean, they want us to do as much as we can.
Mhm.
I'm supposed to take as much Ford business as possible. That's my job.
That's why everyone has to drive by my store to get to the store, and when they leave the store, they have to drive by my store, so.
Anybody have any boxing gloves? I was thinking of one and I just forgot now I'll think of it. Anybody else out here have any questions?
I had a little bit of clarity on some things. We get a lot of slack because we signed over the property to the developers. I don't think people realize that they asked me the other day, why did we not just give them the 2 parcels where they're sitting on? Well, the easy short answer of that is that by us turning over the 1.8 million in land, the developers are putting all the infrastructure in. And I promise you, it's double what the cost of the land is. So the city are not developers, so we would rather turn something over to some prominent businesses who will develop it and draw more business than as city being a developer and putting the roads in and having to deal with the cost, interest, and all the other stuff. So they said, yeah, but when they sell the land, who gets the money? Well, the developers will get the money, because in reality, they'll probably, hopefully, get at least enough to maybe pay for the land they're sitting on. They're not gonna get rich off of it by any means, but just by getting the 2 prominent dealerships here, we're gonna draw a lot more business to our area of what people want. So, and like they said, when we bring these businesses in along the highway, we're not just getting money from Braidwood citizens, we're taking the money of every person driving by, going to Chicago, Missouri, any trip they're going to. They're gonna be spending money in Braidwood at the gas station, the car dealerships, and whatever else follows them, and that all goes right back to us. So in our thing, it was a great deal for them, it was a great deal for us.
It was imperative for us.
Mhm.
You know, it was, and it's the investment in just what you have to put in all the stuff underground, whatever we have to do, the sewers. I never knew cement cost that much.
Mhm.
Okay, but you learn a lot of stuff, but it's a massive investment on our part. And our whole goal is to bring more people. Again, you put in retail businesses that are right next door, you know,
There's
we
a
win,
reason
you
why
guys
the
win.
2 gas stations gonna be kitty corner from each other, right?
Yeah.
Right on 113 there, because they both bring business into each other, so.
Yeah.
So on that, just so people know, you know, just a little crazy, number. Our company, just to send out 2 guys and 2 trucks, is $950 an hour.
I agree. I don't know what it is, it's just a lot.
You know, and that's our company. You know,
Yeah.
the price goes up, price goes down, depending on the customers, so on and so forth, but we're $950 an hour.
Kind of off the wall question, do you
Oh,
guys have?
I wish I was getting that.
I wish he was getting that. Off the wall question, but with you wanting to develop the land around or lease it out, any visions or prospects that you would like to see come into the area next to the dealerships?
Well, I mean, to be transparent, we did do a hotel feasibility study initially when we first obtained the property. And there was a very large demand. It was a company out of, I think, Tennessee that came up, and they spent a good 4 or 5 months doing this study of the market. They met with everyone, from people from the intermodal to the railway, everyone. And they came back and said the demand is very, very high for a hotel. So that initially that was a goal of ours, was to get a hotel over there, restaurants, you know, other than that, we thought a gas station, but I don't know if that's gonna work or not. We don't know if we'll bring in another gas station or not right there,
I
but.
told a friend of mine about a gas station right at the entrance to put in there.
Yes.
He's the one that's putting the one on.
Yes, yes, yes,
So that's
yes.
funny. But no, there is interest in a hotel. Its feasibility study said it was good, and they said as soon as you put a hotel in, the restaurant will follow.
Yes,
This is
yes,
just the way it works.
Yep.
So.
Good, Dave.
East of your property, is there any possibility for anything to move on that side?
I believe when
Between
it,
that and water?
yeah, when that property was purchased, don't hold me to this, but I think, the owners bought the entire property, the pasture where the house was and everything. So I see the for sale sign in the pasture, so I think they're just gonna develop that corner and they have that pasture lot for sale.
Okay.
So we don't know what's coming in until we get a buyer.
But Braidwood has been very fortunate with this new plant. And when I came in, my biggest worry was, well, I look at the town of Zion. They had a new plant that's been decommissioned. The town really didn't prepare for case that happens. And when I saw what was happening since 2019, I saw good things happening here, and I wanted to jump in on board to keep it going. But you can't, I try to tell people in town, you can't wait till the last minute. I mean, Braidwood new plant is very well run. It's going to be here, from what I hear, another 20 years. But you can't wait till the last minute for the very reasons you were talking about. It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a while.
Yeah, we started this whole idea to move back in the end of 2019.
Okay, yeah.
So.
Then COVID hit.
Yes.
That
Well,
had to be.
we thought we
COVID
were
was a
going to
major factor.
Oh, yes, yes. We thought we were just gonna rebuild where we were, and we just don't have enough land there. There's not enough space. I mean, you know that, we're landlocked,
Right.
so, we just couldn't. And then we started looking for property, and it's taken this long for us to get this far. So it's a process, for
And when
sure.
people ask, I tell them that. I go, do you remember a couple of years ago, everything was shut down for a couple of years? So that played havoc on businesses. I mean, if you can survive that.
And then the cost went crazy because of it.
Oh,
But he felt it, right?
insane, yes.
The market went through the roof.
Yeah, everything went nuts. So, the fact that we didn't have to put a shovel in at that time was really good. Plus,
Absolutely.
It took 10 years to get Jewel.
Yeah. And then Jewel, I mean, eventually those outlots will expand. I mean, people would be going there. I mean, there's already a Jimmy John's right across the street, so.
And I would anticipate it's a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 thing. Get the first part going and attract more.
Yeah.
Second phase and so on and develop,
So that's why
Tony's heard exactly that.
Right.
Phase 1,
Phase 1
phase
and
2,
phase
this
2.
is it, yeah.
Yes.
We gotta get our phase 1
We
done
just
first.
phased- Yes, yes.
Then we'll start phase 2.
Does anybody know what's going in on the corner, right, west of the Marathon Station out there? They completely cleaned that lot all up.
I think there are plans for that, and I believe our city administrator told the owners, if you want to make it look a little more attractive, clear it out, and they did.
Oh, so there's no plan, nobody knows anything?
I don't know anything
At
unless.
this point, there's nothing on the books. They were just cleaning it up because it looked like a mess, and it was catching all the garbage that blew across, so all their trees were catching the garbage, so they thought they'd clean it up to make it look presentable.
and that's the property owner cleaning it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a question.
Mr. Altieri?
Go ahead, Liz.
Okay, I have a question for whoever wants to answer it, but tonight I was looking at, I read my news like 20 times a day. So Diamond is now finishing $1 million project for their water department. And as I read on, it said that $600,000 of it was from grants that Senator Duckworth and Senator Durbin helped them get. And another part of it was from grants that was from Will County. So my question is, did we apply to get any of these types of grants to fix our water lines and whatnot? Or did we just leave it on the table?
Those grants started long before I was even here. When I came in 2019, they already had those started. The grants weren't ones that just came up, and no, we did not leave anything on the table.
Is the water tank leaking out there? Is that, I mean, I've just seen stuff on Facebook, but, and I've seen all the ice out there. Is it leaking?
It is.
It
And,
is?
and the story behind that is past administrations, this going back 10, 15, 20 years. The guys are working diligently to find the correct valves because some valves were replaced years ago. Nobody documented it. So the guys have been pulling their hair out and systematically going through that. And then there are some valves that are gonna have to be changed. So it's very frustrating for myself and as well as employees. Nobody knows. So we've talked to several companies for a bypass. That is all in the works as well, you know,
Yeah,
to get it repaired.
And the worst time of year to have.
Yeah,
to
it
do
is. And
Yeah.
essentially the water tower has to be empty. They have to repair for the inside.
What will happen to the water supply then? I mean, I don't know. the
We're in good
logistics of
shape.
it all.
I've been monitoring that as well because we have a couple wells that we're looking at and waiting for quotes on some repairs and some outdated galvanizing that corroded. And in my opinion, it's all factors from a decade or two back. Nothing really had the maintenance that it needed. And that's what we're really working on is we're picking priorities. And, you know, we have a list of priorities and all of a sudden the tower starts leaking. So we are working diligently to get it taken care of and get it repaired.
It's not leaking enough though to affect anything, right?
No, the water in town is good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We're
I
holding up
plenty
very
of
well.
water.
That was a big concern of mine and the guys at the plant. We're holding very well.
They're out there working on it right now. I mean, when I pulled in
Yeah.
Park, they were out there working on it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they you know, and
Warren,
I,
does that have anything to do with why the water's so beachy this year? I mean, it literally smells like chlorine.
well, actually, the administrator and I looked at Wilmington and Coal City.
Yeah, I saw that you compared them, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, it still
It's
smells
still,
like
you can
bleach.
taste it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You can
can't
taste
drink
it.
it.
I was like, you don't even make my coffee with it.
Yeah, and I have stainless steel sinks and literally a drop of water gets on it, it dries white.
Gotcha.
I mean, I know you guys don't actually do that, don't they do it from the bridge? Like they have to put stuff in it when the ice breaks up to. Is that what that's from?
We have chlorinators and, let me get with Rob, our main guy, and I've been asked that before and it's subsidized. That's why we got in and started looking and compared it to the other towns.
I just don't ever remember all these bleach issues
Right.
this year. I mean, you can literally smell it when
Yeah.
you walk in your house and
Right.
it makes your skin itchy and it's.
And I've
slap
been asked
everything.
about this a lot, and again, the guys are working on it. The problem is, they're short-staffed, you might wanna say. They're working their butts off to try to get everything accomplished. They know that a lot of people have smelled this odor and trying to address that as well. But we still have to have pure water and keep the numbers within the EPA standards.
Mhm.
So that's a factor as well.
Thanks.
But yeah, everybody's aware of it and they're working.
Warren, do you know if that's, is it more localized? Is it reported more in one area than others? I don't taste.
You know, and that was
bleach.
something I talked to
I don't
Rob,
either.
our main guy today a little bit. We're gonna have more conversation about it, but to me, it would make sense. The closer to that water treatment plant, the more you're gonna smell chlorine.
Yeah,
you know.
cause I don't smell it,
Yeah.
taste it.
Yeah, I don't
either.
have it in
Nothing
my
like
home
that.
either. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So it might be a proximity to the water treatment
I
plant.
thought it was just mine, but then I saw on Facebook.
There's
where a lot of people
there's
were
a few
writing in.
people that are talking about it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to, get that under control
And
as
I'm pretty
well.
close to water treatment plant, isn't it?
Yeah, so, but,
Isn't the water treatment plant right across the end on the corner? Is that the water
Yeah.
treatment plant? Okay, that's right. So then I'm pretty close to it.
so, the closer you ride, the more you're gonna smell it. It dissipates the farther it goes out in the water lanes. Okay, and that's, again, I was out of town for a while, but I'm gonna get together with Rob and just get updated on all these guys, and I can't say enough for the city guys. They have just gone to every option they can to keep up with what they got going, So I credit the city guys to keep up with what they're doing. You know?
And when they do that, real quick, like when they do that, we have records now where whenever a valve is swapped out, we've got the, you know, in the
Now it's
computer,
documented.
It's put in, you know, it's so to keep up with, from, you know, a few years ago forward. With the records.
Yeah, that's the live sculpture, yeah. It's not so nice, Wayne.
Mike and I were just talking too, Warren, about the smell. You know, we're pretty much far away from the fact, we don't have that.
Okay.
There's no indication.
And that's what I wanna talk to our main guys and guys at the water treatment plant, so I get specific answers from them. Just a general observation, naturally, you're gonna have a higher concentration by the plant. It's gonna dissipate as it goes further out. Common sense would tell me that, you know, but, we've been discussing it, it's a topic, yeah.
Don't walk under the water tower.
I'm not good on records.
It is very frustrating because whoever worked under there years ago, if it's recorded or documented, nobody can find it.
I work at a chemical plant with a million tanks that
Oh,
are
yeah.
old, and we're going through the same thing.
Yeah.
Where stuff's breaking,
So-
and they don't make the parts no more, or
You know, one of
there's
the,
no record of what anybody did, so we're going through the same thing.
so we're looking hard at that. We know this valve is not recorded, that we can't find. What other ones do we have? What other valves are not working? We're composing a list of, all right, once we get this repair done, where are there other valves that are not working correctly? We gotta exercise them, get them working, replace them if they're corroded and old. A lot of times, just where these valves are bolted together, the bolts corrode. And by then, the corrosion gets up in the valve and the guy simply cannot turn it one or the other. We've had, with 2 companies out to look at these valves, and first company come up and said, good luck. You know?
Nice.
So we're working hard on it to get this resolved, as well as several other projects going on at the same time.
So I have to ask this might be the only time we ever see us sitting next to each other, so I have to I mean, your competitors, you know, of course, what makes, from a business perspective, what makes it work that you could be literally next to each other? Is one would think that's bad for business as opposed to being good for business, but I don't know, you know.
Say you want to go, you're looking for a used car, whatever it is. You want a used SUV. Like, if you want to go out and look for one, where would you go? If you're around here, you go to an area to look for it. You're going to pass her store before you get to my store, but you have a destination. I can tell you from the Matson Auto Mall, nobody can say what brands are in the mall, but you know you can go there and look for a car if you chose not to go online and wanted to see different things. So just that alone, people are going to drive by, they'll see, you know, our Chevy store, and they're going to know there's a Chevy store. They may not know the name of it, okay, but they're going to know it's there. And if they want a new Chevy or a new Chevy, that's where they're going to go because they know it's there. And the more we're together, if there's another make that comes in, we do nothing more than welcome them. As goofy as that sounds, it's just more people go to an area.
I would say that there's still a lot of loyalty, like, this guy's a Ford guy, this lady only drives Chevys, is that still as popular
Most of
as
the
it was?
time, people drive a Chevy and then they decide that, and then they come and drive a Ford.
Oh, yeah.
It's good though.
And then you find the Jeeps, right?
COVID
But no, it is
slaughtered.
friendly.
COVID took a beating on that
Okay.
because, you know, we have customers that you want a truck, we couldn't get them.
Couldn't get
I mean,
Right,
it
right,
was,
yeah, just,
all I can tell you was unbelievable at that time.
yes.
So we lost a lot of our loyal customers. Some people switched brands. Some people got upset that we couldn't get them a car, but yet plant's not making them.
Right.
You know, and some of those people, you know, have come back and they like it. But pickup people, truck people, like if you're a Ford guy or Ford trucks, you're a Ford truck
That's what I'm
generally. You
getting
know,
at.
we don't find a lot of people that switch back and forth. Is
Right,
that
right.
understand?
No, it's very fair.
That's
Yes,
where I was going with it.
Very,
yes.
not that much. Not that much.
So how's the EV market? Just curious. Are you guys doing all right with EVs?
So we'll go ahead with your perspective.
I mean, it's actually better now for us than it was a year or two ago. And there's not as much push, obviously, from the manufacturers or the government right now to, for us to sell those, but now we can't keep them.
That's a good question.
Yes.
Do you see the prices coming down on vehicles anytime soon?
The
You used to be able
rebates,
to buy a house for what a Chevy truck costs now.
the price, this price of the car is not gonna drop. Okay, that's
You
what
don't
it is.
think it's coming down?
It's not gonna come down.
Never
Okay.
knows.
But the rebates that the manufacturer can offer has gone up. So that's how they'll offset the MSRP
Yes.
of cars. They don't like lowering them unless there's a massive change, like there has been in the EV market.
Yes,
Did Ford drop their prices for the EVs when
they
they
did,
first?
yes, the
Okay.
Mach-E they did, and the Lightning.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Our EV business, is pretty good. We've got a few models. The other store don't really have anything except the Hummer. But the Cadillac Lyriq up there has been a good seller. Go ahead. I saw hands in the back.
So if your retail spaces are essentially doubling and you're expecting more foot traffic and you're expecting to have double the amount of service bays, do you have a projection on percent increase in staff need to support that additional service bays and additional traffic day one?
I would say there's 50, probably at least 50% for me. I mean, we're jammed. If you, our service department, the techs are just jammed in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
same for us.
they're
Yeah.
packed.
Our racks are all at an angle so we can fit, as many as possible in, and it's a bottleneck all the time. So yeah, we would expect to add at least 50% more.
Yeah, I would say 50%.
I know you guys are gonna have the dealerships there, and they're lit up like Christmas trees, but I'm gonna ask Tony this question because I don't know the answer. What is the height that you guys can go with your sign?
Tony said it's unlimited.
Attaboy.
Light beacons on.
I would tell you that, so, like the Ford sign in front of yours, all GM or all stores, we don't buy the sign, we actually lease the sign, I assume you guys do too. But there's only X amount of choices we can choose from. Okay, so there's a limit. We could, if we wanted a 100-foot sign, they don't even offer that to us. I think the top one for GM and Chevy, which will be on 55, I think is 40 feet tall.
Because if you're going south on 55, you won't see that because once you go under that viaduct, and by the time you might see that sign, you already passed it. You know what I mean? So I'm
I
just saying
think
how-
the tallest one is 40 feet. I could be wrong, but
Oh, yeah, but how many people are gonna go on Reed Road?
but they said if you're on Expressway, this is the one you go with. They basically told me that.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, like I said, we don't have to think a lot. They'll tell us what to do.
Yeah, it's my
Chris asked-
understanding that Ford and GM kind of specify what they want, how the building's gonna look.
Anything that a customer
Right.
sees, they are very, very specific
Right.
on what we can do.
Right.
When this is built, somebody chose the carpet. Somebody chose the carpet in Detroit. Okay, for us. I mean, literally everything you see,
The grout
sit down.
color, yes.
The grout
everything,
color.
Everything, yes.
Chris mentioned the EVs. Are there a certain amount of EV stations that'll be there? Can people just pull off the highway? Can they have, does it matter what kind of vehicle? If they have a Ford or a Chevy, if they can use your vehicles, like a parking lot at a mall or something? I don't know.
We're gonna have it ready for chargers. I think we're planning on having 2 high-speed chargers outside. We already have one here. We tried to put it in Wilmington. That didn't go well. But it's a dual handle and it'll be high speed. So anybody can come in and charge it.
Same for us.
In the
Yep,
middle of the
there's
night?
an app. Well, that's a good
Different?
question. That is the gate question that we haven't gone that far yet.
All right.
But
What was the question?
Like in the middle of the night when you're
you're gonna have gates that close it off.
We won't
EV
have
chargers.
Yeah.
No.
So
We most likely won't have any gates, but we don't know exactly the placement of those chargers yet anyway, because again, it does kind of all factor into the new design of the store and the whole front entrance of the store, so, I mean, obviously, if someone can find our charging station a map app of some kind, and that pulls them into one of our stores too. That's even better for us also.
Sure. That's why we want them to.
Yeah.
And we'll have high-speed chargers now. Right now, Ford, GM, most manufacturers, not Tesla, you have one connector. Okay, that is actually switching. I think we're all switching to the Tesla connector. Doesn't matter; they have an adapter. But if you went with EV, you could really charge anywhere now. And that's a whole setup. You have an app. Everybody has an app. If somebody was done, go up to the store, they touch it or something like that, and it starts it. It's no different than paying for gas, except it's a lot cheaper. Does take longer. The higher the speed, the higher the speed of the charger, the faster it can flow. The car can act like a funnel. So if the car is set up for a small funnel, that's as fast as it get in the car. Some have different ones that are more open, that the car will allow more power to get into it faster. It's dictated by the speed of the charger and the car itself.
What's the cost for somebody to pull up to a charger and charge an electric vehicle?
At the other store, it's 45 cents per kilowatt hour.
In Matson.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know what that relates to, but
Yeah.
they say if you go buy some of our cars, the Chevy Blazer is 96 miles per gallon equivalent. So it's the fuel cost equivalent of 96 miles per gallon.
An electric car gets 96 miles per gallon versus.
That's what it said.
It comes out to.
Yep, that would be like if you had
The
so related to
comparison.
whatever you drive.
And so if you go to the gas station, instead of paying for gas, you'd have to pay to charge it?
You gotta pay to charge it, yeah.
Oh, so you're not.
Or you can just plug it in at home at night as well.
But
you know,
you're still paying
but
to charge
yeah,
it.
you're still paying for it.
Yeah, you're still paying for it.
Yes.
If anybody was to ever get an EV, the first thing I tell them is get a charger home.
Yes.
So if you
It's almost
buy an
required.
electric vehicle, how do you get that charger at your house?
So now Ford offers an incentive. If you purchase an electric vehicle, they'll come and install a charger for free in your home, actually, right now.
And a lot of new homes are being built with
To allow for
the
those.
charging
Yes.
stations in the garages.
Yep.
I would assume that came with the car for the price.
Well, and it does, they do come with portable chargers that you can plug into a 110 or a 220.
Oh,
which
they
is-
do?
Yes,
So you
exactly.
could charge it at
You
home
can just
without
plug it
paying
right in, it just won't charge as quickly. So,
Or
but it'll take, you can get a full charge in 12 to 16 hours if it's just on a 110. A 220 could be like 6 to 8 hours. But a DC fast charger, you can charge a battery in less than an hour. You
So
know,
how are they
fully.
offering the charging at gas stations? You can't pull up and block the gas station for 6 to 8 hours.
No, those are the DC fast chargers, so those would be the less than an hour.
The one in our dealership up in Matson is a 180, okay? So it'll put 180 miles of range in your car in an hour.
Oh.
Okay, that's half, the 360 is the most, so if your car will accept it, it'll put 360 miles in your car. Generally, you're not gonna be that low to begin with.
Right,
So
right.
but those are not everywhere, you know, but, and those might cost a little bit more, but you're there a lot less. We'll have people outside, they come in the store, they do whatever, they sit in the car, they fall asleep sometimes, you know. Yeah, but I mean, the people are gonna go there. I mean, it's great they're gonna be popping up at gas stations all over. I know that General Motors has a deal with Pilot and Flying J to put in EV chargers along all their spots, where we'll be able to go reserve a spot if we're gonna go fill up there.
I thought they already were at some gas stations, aren't they?
I think they are.
Yeah, because
They are.
that's what I thought.
All the Tesla chargers now work with the Ford electric cars as well. They sent out portable adapters for the chargers to all Ford customers that had bought EVs already. So they partnered with Tesla because those were the first real DC fast chargers installed anywhere. I think there's one in Casey's and Dwight, and those were in a lot of the rural areas. Those were the first chargers installed. So they made it easy, you know, for customers to be able to charge up.
I don't think either one of us would tell you to get an EV or gas, get what you like, but I would tell everybody here, if you're considering a car, just look at it. I mean, you have to buy it, but just look at it and drive it, and
You have to drive the EV. It's
It
a
is.
different experience for sure. Yes.
Why is it that?
It's instant power.
It's like a light switch.
It's, I mean, you hit the pedal and you go.
And if you're a
It's-
car guy and you're
completely
used to
different
listening to RPMs and the motor, all you hear is very faint road noise.
Unless you change the settings in the car for it to give you fake road noise, because you like the road noise.
Okay.
And speakers in the car give you a road
And they
noise.
give you that option
Really?
too, yes,
Okay,
yes.
I did not know.
But it's incredibly quiet and you don't realize how fast you're going because they're so quiet and so smooth.
Yeah.
That, yes, so they're fun to drive, definitely.
The policeman could give many tickets to people in
Yes.
EVs, because then you just don't know how fast you're going.
You don't know.
Because you get there's no sound.
Yeah.
At the charging stations, do you have to stay there with the charge, or can you go to eat, like as an example? White
Oh, you
Shell?
have to go.
Yeah,
don't
like
have
a
to
lot
stay
of
there.
grocery
Okay.
stores
Lock it
will
up,
have them
let it
outside.
plug it
so
in,
you can
lock it
plug
up.
in
So,
and go
Yeah, that
shop,
would be
yes.
another inducement to have nice
More
restaurant
retail.
or
Yes,
facilities to, even fast food.
absolutely, yeah.
So we plan on that. You know, we'll be on 55, so we'll have fast chargers. People will come into the area. I mean, just because
And there's really not much.
Because they misjudged.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Exactly.
Little Dunkin' Donuts in there.
So you guys will still be at the same places you're at now until the new places are built?
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, 5 to 7, we had great questions. Thanks for Ally and
Well, thank you,
Aaron,
everybody.
nobody
thanks
asked
for
for a
being here.
discount. That's unbelievable. I was ready to give it. Too late. Just kidding.
Thank you both for coming up.
Yes,
and
thank you.
talking with us.
Thank you, we're excited.
Thanks for everybody.
If anybody has a question, I'll answer any question. You call me, call Ally,